Hello guys, how are you? And welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss a new and revolutionary AI large language model that has just been launched or announced by AI2 company, a company called AI2. And without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So the model name is called Tulu 3. Tulu 3 is a fine-tuned version of Llama 3.1 405B, which is a large language model that was produced by or developed by Meta, or formerly Facebook. And I want us to discuss about some of the key points that make this model unique and some claims that the company has made that we need to verify, even if we have to believe them. So at this point, we already know about DeepSeek V3 and the reasoning model that is the DeepSeek Reasoner that has been taking waves and shattering most of the stock market in US and almost globally because of its efficiency and ability to scale so much that any other reasoning model like O1 couldn't even achieve before. But today, the model that has been announced, that is Tulu 3, which is the fine-tuned version of Llama, the company claims to be performing better than the state-of-the-art DeepSeek V3, which is the best model that DeepSeek ever produced. And in this blog post, we can see that the company claims that it has made some tests, which has really, according to me, is really biased. And in all these tests, we can see that Tulu 3 is performing better than DeepSeek V3 in almost all the benchmarks, and even on par with the GPT-4 in some of these benchmarks. Like in this case, we can see that Tulu V3 is 80, and then DeepSeek V3 is 79, and then 86, 72. And in almost all the benchmarks, it outperforms DeepSeek V3, except in some few instances, like in Big Bench Hard, where DeepSeek V3 performs 89 against the Tulu 88 and against the GPT-4 83. Even in, but there are some few drawbacks that we can just look at this when you are observing even the blog post itself. And one of them is that the cost of running this model will be extremely higher compared to DeepSeek V3, because DeepSeek V3 was a fine-tuned version and a mixture of experts that involved 32 billion parameter models chained together, which is by convention highly economical in terms of ability of people to run it. But now we have 405B parameter model, which is a fine-tuned version of Llama 3. And the model we're fine-tuning here is reinforcement learning from verifiable reward or verifiable feedback. And this is a slight modification of what we already know, that is reinforcement learning through human feedback. The difference here is that in the reinforcement learning through human feedback, the human annotator or human being have to rank the model output, and the model need to learn from the top ranked outputs. And the key component in the reinforcement learning through human feedback, also known as RLHF, is that the human feedback or the reward that is given to the human is the core component of what model need to understand. But in reinforcement learning through verifiable reward, what happens is that the model or an automated system looks at the model output and then verifies it against a trusted database or outputs, or even the automated framework can run code and see the output and then feeds the output back to the model. And the model uses that through the process of reinforcement learning to fine-tune its next output. And the model will run that way. And that is the key difference. So eliminating the human in the loop make it reinforcement learning from Verifiable Reward. And the next thing that I want to discuss about is how can you access this model, the new Tulu V3 that claims to be better than the revolutionary DeepSeek V3. And one of the ways in which you can access it is through their free chat interface by Allen AI. And you can ask it any question. You can choose any model, really. For example, you can choose the Llama Tulu 3 or Tulu 3405B. So these are distilled versions of the larger Llama 3 model, which is also even the Tulu is from Llama. And then this process is complex. But what happens is that they're just retraining. They're not training a model from scratch, but retraining models that have been trained by other people. And that seems to produce some result. What I can also say is that the process of post-training, this could have been better if they could have maybe used DeepSeek V3 as their base model to train even a better model. But I'm not sure if they are interested in doing so. But it's already making the wave almost all over the internet because this thing is highly revolutionary. What I will say is that after some, I don't know if you will have time to compare it against DeepSeek V3, but after, just according to my opinion, after testing it on my benchmarks and everything that is already there, I know it's not already in benchmarks. For example, LM Arena, I've already checked those, but because it's just a model that's been launched minutes ago, it has not been published in those databases. But if it was to be published, then it will be far below most of the state-of-the-art models such as DeepSeek V3. So I want you to take your own time and also test all these benchmarks and output from this model so that you can give me a comment on the comment section below on your experience with this new model that claims to be better than any other model that's ever been produced. And let us verify these claims together. I think that's it for now. Until next time, bye. Take care.